I'd love to be remembered as a Barcelona legend one day. We believe we are the best team in the world. We're proving it.
You never know, in 30 years' time, like another Barcelona legend, he might be doing a podcast with his couple of pals.
You're not my pals, you're my workmates.
You used to play for Barca, didn't you, Gaz?
Did he?
Yeah, I was there for 3 years. Scored a few goals. With round 3 of the 8 matches now completed in the revamped format, the table is starting to take a bit of shape, and that table is looking rather impressive if you're looking from an English perspective. There are 3 teams sitting pretty right at the top in Aston Villa, Liverpool and Manchester City, who have scored a combined 21 goals between them and conceded just 1. English teams 1, 2 and 3, and Arsenal also unbeaten. It's a brilliant start for the English clubs.
Yeah, it really is. I think I've been most impressed with Aston Villa. If I was, because in terms of them coming into the Champions League, we spoke about how brilliant the manager is, but the fact that they're not. Sometimes when people play in the Premier League and then they go to Champions League, they sort of play within themselves, but tactically they're still doing great things, which has made them so good over the last couple of years. Even the likes of bringing Duran in, who's normally a sub. Watkins goes on the bench. Duran comes, starts a game, he scores a goal. Tactically, they all know what they're doing. They got that really good win against Bayern at home in the last round, and people look at that result and might think, oh, well, that Bayern might have had an off day. But Villa, in terms of the tactical side of the game, deserved to win. They managed the game in every element, whether it's defensive, whether it was the right time to go forward, and then getting that goal. I just think watching Villa, especially from where they were, even 10 years ago to now, it's remarkable. It really is. And I feel like they need a lot of praise for what they're doing right now.
They're going to qualify. I mean, whether that's automatic or whatever. I mean, there's no team that will look forward to going to Villa Park with the atmosphere there and what they've created there. Emery's got there now. They've got a really good squad. They're gonna give anyone who goes to Villa, they're gonna give anyone a game there. It's such exciting times for them.
Interesting though. I wonder, the first kind of signs of a little bit of unsettled behaviour was John Duran. You see when he got taken off and he booted the seat, and I thought to myself, I get that, because he's come on and scored in every game pretty much that he's played, and then he starts the game in place of Ollie Watkins, scores again and then gets taken off, and you just thought it's going to be hard to keep those two. I mean, it's we've known that forever. What do you think Watkins felt sitting on the bench watching that game, watching John Duran's squad? I mean, he will never admit this until he's retired. But he would have been pretending to be happy for him.
I haven't got a problem with Duran's reaction. I'd be more worried if he was really happy to come off. He's got 2 really good centre forwards there, hasn't he? Who both are desperate to play every minute of every game. And you're right. It's only when you finish that you realise that perhaps I maybe can't play every game and have to understand. But yeah, he won't admit it, that he'd have been raging sat on the bench because he wanted to be out there.
Is there an argument for both of them playing together? I don't know, 4-4-2 is a thing of the past, but we've analysed Villa before and how they press. It's sort of in a 4-4-2 anyway. Of course, you might lose that creativity from a midfield point of view, but especially times Villa have played where they've had 2 sitters holding, and then what's going on in front of them is just all rotation. So surely they've got to try it in one game.
I wonder whether, though, they're quite similar in the way they play, aren't they? I mean, I think he drops a little bit deeper, more probably Duran than Ollie Watkins. But if you play 2 up top, you've got to lose something somewhere. I mean, most teams now like to play kind of 3, don't they? Generally, with wide players and stuff. But generally two up top my whole career, apart from probably some time at Spurs. I play up front on my own, and with England, with Beardsley, more of a kind of 10.
Only in the odd game, though, particularly at Champions League level, when you're stepping up a bit. I think more important than ever than that midfield, or that how tight and compact you have to be in the midfield. So there won't be many times, if any, unless they're chasing the game, that they go in, or they certainly start with two anyway. I don't see that.
And
happening.
If it ain't broke, you don't fix it, do you? I mean, it's going well. Why would you fiddle with it?
You know, you talked about in terms of the 4-4-2 and the similar players, and they both like to run in behind. But surely, what in the art of football, certainly when you're playing, like one striker comes short on one side and one goes long. Watkins can hold up the ball. We've done that a lot on Match of the Day, where his hold-up plays become a lot better. So he can hold it up, and then Duran runs in behind, and then vice versa. Surely that's something that is an option for them, is what I'm saying. I think now, in modern day football, we just say, okay, he's a number 8, so he can't run back, or he's a number 10, so he can't put a tackle in. He's a number 6, so he can't run forward. Surely, like, we still can evolve the game where old school tactics can still work in modern day football.
It can work, but then you've got to slightly change your system and the way you're playing. And why would you do that when it's going well? I suspect it's the sort of thing they might try if they go 2 or 3 games without a win and just want to stir it up. But no, you're absolutely right, and players should be flexible and in that sense. But a fantastic start for Aston Villa. Must be a real buzz for the fans to be actually top of this league. I mean, you've got every giant in Europe up there with them. Manchester City, they march on. We expected it to be a fairly comfortable victory, and it was. But we've got to talk about Haaland's goal. I've never seen that before. I don't think. I'm sure it's been done somewhere somehow by somebody, but it wasn't seen by me. I mean, it was. It was extraordinary.
I would have ripped either a groin, a knee, a thigh, a hamstring. Something would have gone if I'd even tried that. Yeah. In fact, I wouldn't even have done it. So, just remarkable.
Your wallet might have even fallen out your pocket.
What a goal, man. Oh,
incredible.
My God. It's just unbelievable.
I don't know how you would describe that. I mean, what went through his mind? He must have done that somewhere in training a couple of times, I would imagine, just to even think of it.
I just don't know how he gets his foot so high. Yeah. And it's like the fact that he managed to get the power as well. I know it took a bounce, but the accuracy, the power, the technique, and just, it reminds me of like Ibrahimovic.
I was just thinking exactly the same thing. Zlatan.
Yeah. It was just the way that they could move their body for such big guys as well, you know? It's astonishing. It was unbelievable goal that was. It really was.
That's 26 games unbeaten in the Champions League, Manchester City. Having said that, before the pedants come on, they did, of course, lose to Real Madrid in a penalty shootout. But that apparently doesn't count as a loss.
We could just say normal time.
Statistically speaking, that means because penalty shootouts don't count win and lose, but which is weird. I've always thought. I think it's a bit odd because it's a loss, and it feels like one. It feels worse than a loss when you lose a penalty shootout. He's got 44 Champions League goals now. He's only 24. Haaland. I mean, Ronaldo's record, which is 140. I mean, it's 100 goals off, but it seems mad you can score that many goals in European football, doesn't it? I wonder, though, but you play more games now because of this new format. So there'll be more matches. So there's a possibility if he stays fit.
Well, hold on. We played more games when Alan Shearer was breaking all these records out in the league. How many games were in the league?
No, it started off at 42, wasn't it, guys?
Yeah. But 42 when I played.
It didn't last that long. No.
Oh, did it not? Just a couple of seasons.
Just a couple, yeah. Needed less games, playing too much football.
He's already scored more goals than Neymar and Drogba. He just went past them last night.
Phenomenal.
Not bad at 24.
Wow.
Good to see Phil Foden get his goal as well. I thought, he seems to be coming back to fitness, coming back to form. You can't keep that kind of quality quiet for too long, I don't think. He's had a tough time with England, obviously. It didn't quite happen for him in the Euros. Didn't score a goal. So it's probably good for his confidence and cracking little finish as well.
Yeah, well, he's not been fit, has he? And like you said, the Euros was difficult, playing out of position. And I feel like when I'm talking about Phil Foden, a lot of people might think I'm making excuses. I'm not. I just think he's so good in the middle of the pitch. He shoots more often than not. You know, a lot of players, when they get in them positions, are looking for a pass, but a lot of his goals last season's where he's, 20, 30 yard strikes. And I think he needed that confidence just to show everyone exactly how good he is. There's been a lot of talk about Cole Palmer, the season he had last year, the start he's had to the season as well. But Phil Foden's he's a top player. He just needs a run of games, confidence, and to stay in the team now.
Yeah, I predominantly watched the Liverpool game last night, but I did see his goal, which fell perfectly for him, didn't it? Exactly where he would have wanted it, in that position, coming onto it with the left foot, and he stuck it away really well. Well, we know it was only a matter of time before he starts playing well again. It's because he's just got an incredible talent. So.
Class player, works
absolutely.
Hard, great attitude, he'll be fine. That's a tough game at RB Leipzig. They're going really, really well to do it.
Kelleher played really well. When he was asked to make a save or two, he didn't let anyone down and had to a couple of times. But they look really, really organised, and they're a tough nut to crack. They've got so much ability in forward positions. I mean, Nunez got his goal last night. He nicked it off Salah because it probably was going in, which I sort of loved.
I don't think he could have left it though, do you? I mean, I think it was one where it wasn't obviously going in. It was tight, wasn't it?
When you need goals, then you take them however they come, whether you have to nick it from someone or whether it goes in off your arse or whatever. You just accept it and get on with it. And he did that. And again, I mean, I was impressed with Liverpool. They're tough. They're really hard to beat. They don't give you that many chances. And for large parts of that game, I thought they dominated.
And I think they should have had a penalty, shouldn't they?
Oh, my God.
When Nunez went through there and he was completely whacked. I mean, if that's not a penalty, I don't know what you two think, but...
Me too. I was sat thinking, what the hell is going through the VAR's mind? Because you can accept that the referee has missed it, but seriously, what are they thinking? I don't think anyone watching that match would think, nah... The VAR's got that right. That was never... It was a clear penalty.
Unless Micah's going to surprise us here.
No.
You just had a little look on your face. I thought, what's he going to say?
No.
Not even Micah's that daft.
he must have had his glasses on then. That's good. It was nuts, wasn't it? It was like... So when I saw I watched it after the game, but I just thought, what? It's just like, how have you not turned that over?
Madness.
Yeah. But they are looking very impressive. I think, obviously, you get a flavour for things a little bit more when you have a defeat or something like that. But at the moment, they've obviously got the threat of the forward players that they have, but also perhaps more of a solid, dependable look than... Probably not as quite as exciting a team to watch as they were under Jurgen Klopp, but it's still early days, so we can't be sure yet. But
and they've got good options, and he's using them. I mean, obviously the goalkeeper's injured. Kelleher comes in. Tsimikas plays it at left back. Left Jones out, who was brilliant at the weekend. McAllister comes in. Nunez comes in. So they've got really good options as well. I think all over the park.
Big game at the weekend, Sunday.
Oof.
Liverpool, Arsenal. Yeah, two sides. Obviously, Arsenal, 1 or 2 injuries. Saka was missing again last night. And Odegaard, I think Calafiori went off injured.
He went off injured, yeah.
As well. And Ben White as well.
Ben White, he said in the interview after that he had a yellow card. He had a little bit of fun with it,
so he's
Arteta.
all right.
But
that's good.
so he was saving him. Yeah, so, I mean, it's a big game, isn't it?
They're not free-flowing at the moment. They're not at their absolute best, but they did enough.
Yeah, I think when you look at the bigger picture with Arsenal, particularly with the Champions League, 1-2, drawn 1,
Yep.
they were really impressive against PSG in the home game, which I did the co-coms for. This one it was a win. It was a game they had to win against the opposition, were expected to win, but they made hard work of it. They missed 2 or 3 really good chances to get the second goal. And as long as it's 1-0, the opposition, Shakhtar, they sort of grew into it. And in the end, they put Arsenal under big pressure in the last 15 or 20 minutes. And Raya had to make a couple of really good saves because of the penalty miss from Trossard, which I was a tad surprised that he actually was taking it, because Kai Havertz was on for a record, wasn't he, for the 8th consecutive game.
Yeah, and he's a really good penalty taker for them.
And he didn't take it, and Trossard took it and made a mess of it. But they won the game, so they've won 2 and drawn 1 in the Champions League. That was the more of the story on the night, and it was okay from Arsenal. It wasn't any more than that.
And Jesus started, Alan. How did he play? Because he was at City, the whole thing of him being a striker, then playing on the wing, then he said he wanted to play number 9. He's gone to Arsenal, started really well, had his injuries, and sort of like finds himself out the team now. How did he perform?
Obviously playing Havertz more as the centre forward, and Trossard spends a bit of time up there with him, whether that's 10 or up alongside Havertz, and Jesus played to the right of Havertz, and he had a couple of really big chances, and I think it's 22 or 23 games now, something like that. He's looking for a goal, hasn't scored, missed 2 big chances. There's no problem with his work rate or anything like that, but when you're not in the team and you get given an opportunity, you've got to take it, and he didn't the other night. He just did okay. That's it. But when you're out of the team and you're given a chance, you've got to come in and do more than he did.
Yeah, it's a bit of a crisis of confidence, I suspect, at the moment.
Yeah.
He's in one of those runs, a bit of a rut, isn't he? Needs a couple of goals to get him out of it.
Desperate for a goal.
Yeah.
He had a couple of big chances. Keeper saved one when he tried to go across the goalkeeper. Should have scored, but yeah, you might see a difference in him when he gets a goal, but needs to do better.
How's the atmosphere in there, Al?
Yeah, it was all right. I mean, they were pretty patient, because Arsenal dominated possession. They never panicked. They didn't get an early goal. Crowd never panicked. Crowd sort of stuck with them. It was a good atmosphere. Yeah.
David Raya, 3 games played, 5 really good saves, 1 penalty save, no goals conceded. He made a brilliant save from the shot from outside the box, didn't he? Late on, but he's
he didn't have much to do for large parts of the game until probably the last 15 or 20 minutes, when Arsenal put themselves under pressure, got a bit sloppy, giving balls away, and they gave a couple away on the edge of the box, which then invited pressure and shots from Shakhtar in and around 18 yards out, and he pulled off one really, really good save where he pushed it out to his left-hand side. So yeah, that's another big plus for Arsenal as well, about not conceding.
Yeah, we're only 3 games in, obviously, into this, and they play 8 in total. And some teams would have played tougher opposition than others at present. But having 4 teams inside that top 8 at the moment would be quite an achievement if four English clubs, and I suspect something will happen, as someone will slip out into the playoff phase. But it would be quite a performance, wouldn't it, to get all 4 through?
Unbelievable. And if all 4 were to finish in the top 8, it would be incredible, yeah.
I think they will. I really do. I think the momentum of Aston Villa. Man City do what they do. Liverpool look a lot more defensively secure. And Arsenal are steadily going about their business and had injuries. So I think all four will go through top 8.
They've got 2 really tough away games next. I think it's Inter Milan and maybe Sporting. I think their next 2.
Yeah, they've definitely got into Matchday 4. Yes,
so they've got
away.
two tough away games next, which is really important why they had to win the other night.
The Barcelona-Bayern game was a treat. Another one of those games, the Battle of High Lines. And it was like, and in many ways, Alan, it was a bit like watching Burnley when Company was in charge, in the sense that Neuer had a nightmare with the ball at the back. He kept giving it away, and it led to one of the goals, I think, at least. But what a game! And have you seen Rafinha's hat-trick?
Haven't seen it yet, no.
Goodness me, 3 unbelievably good. First, when he actually goes round the keeper, which we don't see that often. The other 2 goals were just brilliant finishes. One in particular is the third one, after a fantastic pass from Lamine Yamal, who was also outrageous on the night. It was a really good game of football. Kane was making great passes, scored a really good goal, really good finish. But yeah, what a game of football.
It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, wasn't it?
I've never seen anything like that
Really?
in the Champions League. It's almost like... So Barcelona was playing as high as you could possibly think. It was staggering. But then they had the midfielders just in front of them, like they wasn't engaging in any high pressure. Then, when the ball went over, they weren't even set. There was like turning round, even though Kabasi had a really good game. But I was thinking, what tactics are these? Then Bayern were doing exactly the same thing. There was a shot, honestly, where all the players were in the middle of the pitch, and who could play the ball forward over the top quicker than the other. I couldn't believe I was watching that.
You know, it was like the 2 teams had come out of the tunnel at the start of the game and just lined up opposite to each other.
Yes! That's exactly what it was. I couldn't believe for such 2 top teams, I couldn't believe how bad. Oh, I wouldn't say bad because Barcelona got away with it, but Bayern Munich could have scored 3 in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It was staggering.
Nuts, but very entertaining game of football.
Yeah, for us watching at home, it was brilliant. It was end to end, high quality. Lamine Yamal.
Oh my God.
Honest to God, guys. Honest to God. Oh my! It's Messi-like. He's doing the same things that Messi was doing at that age, and I'm not talking about except for the dribbling past 5 players and putting it in. His touch, his technique, his awareness, his weight of pass, every. I'm like, this guy can't be 17. He can't be. It's impossible.
It's mad.
I've not seen anything like that at that age since Messi. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not.
They've got Real Madrid, haven't they, this weekend, haven't they? Barcelona,
Yes,
Real
they
Madrid
have.
this
They
weekend.
have, yeah.
Wow.
He's the next coming, isn't he? I mean, he's kind of already with us. He's been so amazing, Lamine Yamal. But because I think, to actually challenge, I mean, you've got to be careful here what we do, with Messi and things like that, because he's just started. But you're right, Micah, at that age, comparatively, it's quite extraordinary how good he is. I mean, some of the little bits and the passes. Did you see when he tried the Rabona? It didn't quite come off, but the passing, it wouldn't have been.
But it's not just him, Gaz. They've got that Casado in midfield.
Yeah.
With Pedri. Casado,
Pedri.
Where's he come from? You know what I mean? He plays in the Champions League like it's nothing. Him and Pedri in midfield, absolutely bossing it.
And Kabasi at the back as well is what a player.
Ferman Lopez, I watched him at the Olympics for Spain. Oh my, they're
going to be a force to be reckoned with. It's still early for them, but they are going to be a force to be reckoned with again, Barcelona. I mean, just at the time when they got into such a financial mess, they've managed to produce this kind of plethora of incredible talent. It's great to see. It really is.
What about Bayern, though? I looked at the league table. I thought they 22nd, are they? Something like that, Bayern?
It's after 3. Well, they've lost 2 now, haven't they?
Yeah.
Because they lost to Villa as well. So, they'll be under pressure. And Vincent will obviously be... I mean, they're going pretty well in the league. So they're up there with Leipzig at the moment. So
it's not good, though, Al. I mean, in terms of their balance in the team... When you've got that amount of good players going forward and I'm not saying they don't work hard, but they don't get into defensive positions quick enough to help the back four. Upamecano and Kim, let's not remember, Kim was at Napoli. He was one of the best defenders in Italy. When they won the league, he was incredible. He looks a shadow of the player, like even last season, but especially this season as well. Every time they go high, but then he's so big, when he turns, it's too late. And Upamecano keeps making silly mistakes. And you know what I'm most disappointed at? Vincent Kompany was a centre-half. He was a top centre-half, and I know he's got all this array of great talent, but surely the relationship between your two centre-halves should be good with the ability that they have and your manager who's been a top defender. The mistakes they're making is not right. I need to sort out ASAP.
They're always going to score goals with what they've got in forward positions, but it would be a huge concern the way they're conceding them. I think is it 7 now in the 3 games? I know it was 4 against Barca, but they've conceded 7 goals in 3 games. Which obviously the better the opposition, you're going to get punished.
I have to say, Harry Kane looks back to his best. I mean,
did he look sharp? Did he? I saw his goal. His goal was a good finish.
He didn't look sharp. I suspect there was an underlying little problem during the Euros because he didn't look himself. But he looks, obviously he's not the most rapid in the world, but he's coming deep, he's kicking balls. He looks strong. He looks fit. His finishing's as good as ever. He's got a couple of hat-tricks in his last couple of games as well.
Yeah, but it looks better, Gaz, because Bayern play higher.
Well, yeah, but he does drop deep.
Of course, yeah. He's more involved in the game because the Bayern's line is so high. He's not having to come to get the ball back in midfield. He's already in offensive positions where it can affect play.
Although he did drop sometimes and hits a couple of fantastic passes, which he does. But then they were getting players running past him, obviously. So I just want to go back to Lamine Yamal just briefly because you can always tell when someone knows how good they are by the way they speak. I think this is quotes after the game last night. I'd love to be remembered as a Barcelona legend one day. It'd be great to leave a legacy, to make history for this club. Being part of Barca history will be incredible. El Clasico now. We believe we are the best team in the world. We're proving it. We go with all our strength. We were confident already, and may the best team win. 17.
Brilliant.
At 17 years.
You never know, in 30 years' time, like another Barcelona legend, he might be doing a podcast with his couple of pals.
Oh, that's great, yeah. You're not my pals. You're my workmates.
You used to play for Barca, didn't you, Gaz?
I don't like to mention it, Alan, but I was there for 3 years. Yeah, I was there for 3 years. Scored a few goals. Do you know Barcelona have scored 43 goals in 13 games so far this season, which is they're back. They are fantastic to watch. They're really brilliant. Under Hansi Flick, slightly kind of dangerous way of playing, but they're backing themselves in forward positions. That Madrid did what Madrid do, didn't they? Real 2-0 down at half-time against Dortmund and then came back and another fabulous hat-trick, this time by Vinicius Junior, and one of the goals was he'd got it on kind of wide area about the edge of his own 18-yard box, ran the length of the pitch, cut in and banged it in the bottom corner. Fabulous goal, wasn't it?
Incredible. I saw. When I was doing the core comms, the results were sort of the scores were flashing up, and I saw it 2-0 down. I'm thinking, Yeah, I would still fancy them to go and get something here, but I don't know whether I'd fancy them to go and get 5, wasn't it? So, but
having lost to Lille previously as well, they're 2-0 down at half time. Suddenly you're under the cosh.
Yeah, you mentioned that goal. Wow, it was. I mean, you mentioned the Erling Haaland goal earlier, and this was a very, very special goal as well, wasn't it?
It was a bit of a weird one because Dortmund did so well in the first half. They come out in the second half. They went from a 4 at the back to a 5 at the back to protect what they had.
Well, that worked.
It totally backfired. The wing backs were getting really pushed back. Emre Can come on, and he's played as a wing back. He gets roasted for the goal, but I mean, it was all about Vinicius, wasn't it? It was all about Vinicius. I mean, hat-trick, Ballon d'Or coming up. I mean, even though the voting has ended, but it's fresh in people's minds, isn't it? You know,
he's 6-4 on favourite, I think, with Rodri 9-2 or something.
I was just about to say, a couple of months ago, we were all on Rodri, weren't we?
Well, because that's when the voting was, you know.
That's
there was a
what
couple
I'm
of weeks
saying,
left before it was, and Rodri won't win the Euros. His unbelievable record for Man City in terms of the games without losing. Rodri still gets my vote.
The odds have shifted again since last night. I mean, if they've already voted, I don't know why that makes a difference, but Vinicius Junior is now 9-4 on, Rodri 7-1, Bellingham 18-1, Lamine Yamal 40-1, and Mbappe 40-1. So it's looking like Vinicius Junior. The bookies rarely wrong, aren't they? That's why they've all got so much money. But I mean, Champions League win, obviously. But then you've got Rodri, who inspired Spain to their victory and the success that Manchester City. It's funny, isn't it, how in terms of, I mean, the Ballon d'Or has become a big thing now. We didn't used to take it that seriously in this country. It was always taken much more serious, especially in Spain. I mean, they're obsessed with it, at Madrid particularly. So I think, winning the Euros with Spain, but having won the Champions League it seems to take precedence. I don't know, and they're different kinds of players as well. But I would feel for Rodri because he's been I think the best player, consistently the best player in world football this year.
Well, 2 or 3 months ago, we all three of us were all over Rodri, weren't we? We were all pretty convinced, weren't we? Am I right in saying that? We were all said that Rodri has to be a shoo-in to get that. But
you'd think a national team championship would probably carry more weight, possibly, than a club title in terms of the Champions League. And just the difference between losing a penalty shootout and winning a penalty shootout, not just for a club like Manchester City failing to go through, but also Rodri, because if they win that penalty shootout, then they probably would have gone on to win the Champions League, and Rodri would definitely have been a shoo-in. So individual prizes within a team sport, but it's always fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah. I would like to know when the voting closed, though, because if odds are changing up until, is it tomorrow? Is it today? The Ballon d'Or, is it today?
No, it's next week.
What is it? When's it announced? Is it next week Thursday? Is it?
I don't know. We'll just let's look it up. One sec. We've been actually looking to try and find out when the voting closes, but you can't find it. The information it's impossible to find. We've just spent about 15 minutes doing it. But the Ballon d'Or will take place on Monday. On Monday night, it will be given. The trophy will be handed out. The Ballon d'Or will go to, I imagine, Vinicius Junior, probably.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the timing of the voting is important, like when it ended, because Vinicius Junior is fresh in people's minds now because what he's doing.
I think it's safe to say it would have already taken place, the voting, before now, sure.
It should have done, but I mean, if odds are changing, then that would say people's mind are being swayed to Vinicius, when it's really what he did last season. And, you know, if it's about, okay, Vinicius, because what he did in the Copa America, he didn't really turn up Vinicius Junior, did he? If we're being, honest about the situation, I think Rodri still gets my vote.
Yeah, he still gets my vote as well. But I suspect he might not get enough votes to win. We'll see. We'll find out on Monday. Celtic deserve a mention. That's a really good point for them at Atalanta, particularly having conceded 7 in their last game, got a thumping, having started well with the victory. So 4 points in 3 games. But, Kasper Schmeichel, clean sheet, looked like they defended really well in that game.
I watched large parts of that game, actually. They were under the cosh most of the game. Had to stick together, defended really well,
22 shots they had against them.
But what an opportunity now for Celtic to try and sort of push on and get into that, get into one of the playoff places. That would be amazing if they did that. And you're right, 4 points. I think they'd have snapped your hands off for that, given before ball was kicked. Absolutely.
I mentioned it at the start. Really, really happy for them. And it just comes back down to the format. It gives people a chance, and going into the Champions League and qualifying for it, and you get to go. Long are the days where people want to just compete. It's great for the fans to go all to these amazing stadiums. That's part of it. But at some point, you want to compete, and this new format gives them the chance to compete, and that's what makes it, such a good watch, especially for the neutrals, but for teams like Celtic as well.
Yeah, it's definitely getting a thumbs up so far from us three. Let's finish with, let's do a little thing on the Champions League now, with the goal of the week, because there's some beauties. We've narrowed it down to 3. Wilfried Singo for Monaco. Did you see his goal against Red Star Belgrade for about 35 yards? Screamer in the top corner. There's that one. We've picked out Vinicius Junior, which we've talked about, and Erling Haaland's for Man City. Who are you going with?
It's got to be Haaland, hasn't it? I mean, only because Singo's goal was amazing, but for Haaland to get his leg that high, get the ball into the ground, have a little bounce before it went in, so he's got the right amount of power on it, I would have to say Erling Haaland.
I'd actually agree with you, Mike. I mean, screamers we see from time to time, don't we? And even runs. Vinicius was a very special goal as well, dribbling from kind of the edge of his own 18-yard box. But I've never seen a goal like Haaland's before. And the fact that it's so unique, and even though it was kind of odd, a little bit odd, but how he did it was remarkable. And I think because of the fact that you never see anything like that, it has to get my vote. I mean, we've seen scorpion kicks and flicks and stuff, but this was a kind of impossible what he did, wasn't it?
Like karate kick, wasn't it? Like martial arts type.
Yeah,
it was just, it was staggering. Top goal. He gets my vote.
And mine. What do you think, Al?
I'm going with Vinicius Junior.
Yeah, it was a great goal.
I think for someone to carry the ball that far from what he did about his own, I don't know, just near his own 18-yard box, to go that far, to run past that many people, and then have the ability to stick it in from the 18-yard box, I thought
quite slow people.
Oh, really? Oh, right, okay. Yeah, Emre Can, wasn't it? Yeah, but
Emre Can.
I thought it was just an incredible goal. Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, as was Haaland's. I'm not going to argue against you two, but I just thought Vinny was just amazing.
That was a really funny look. You froze there, Alan, on our picture with a really funny looking face. I think Micah might have got a picture of it.
I got a picture, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, Haaland wins it by 2 votes to 1, although actually Haaland's other goal was a great team goal, actually. Some brilliant football in that, wasn't there?
Tic-a-taca.
Yeah.
Ping, pam, boom. And then his little touch to get it on his right foot, and then, that just missed out on the top 3, I think.
It did. But so that's it. We'll be back on Monday, looking back at a big weekend of Premier League football. So we'll see you then. But for now, goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me. Have a great weekend.